noted the individuals involved in the money trail, and started my own investigations just as an engineer. And what I looked at was, one, the telephone number was a satellite phone number, not a normal mobile phone number. And I then conducted, using two attorneys of law, to conduct the paper trail, the money trail, which went to Austria and the City of London. And it was that interested me into how conduit companies move hundreds of billions of pounds through what you call company formations agents, where they set up these companies. And what I'd found in my partner's case was it ended up in one address in the City of London. And that address was 788 790 Finchley Road. If anybody's seen the work that I've put out on the internet, it's focused on one address. And that's what I will try and keep it simple to. From that address, I found out that there were 209,000 shell companies. But not just the amount of companies, because anybody that's in a formations company agency will have to provide due diligence to protect investors or shareholders of those companies that move in and out of that address. Well, I did my own internet search, as you do, right click, and found out that this address was linked to very senior politicians, and I will name them. And if they have any right to stand before me in a court of law, they will have to answer how they were attributed to that address. I include Tony Blair, Windrush Ventures. I include Amber Augusta Rudd, Monticello PLC, and many others. I include David Mackenzie Donald Mills, the husband of Tessa Jow, also linked to that address. I include Silvero Berlusconi and the Mafia, also linked to that address. I include a certain gentleman who is the Derby MP, Chris Williamson, who, when you check his interests through the House of Parliament, you will find out that he was sponsored by a company called UCAT, which is a Labour organisation. He was funded a certain amount of money, and I found out that UCAT has a subsidiary, UCAT Investments, and guess where it came out of? 788 790 Finchley Road. So from following my partner's fraud to the City of London, the conduit was that we took this information to the South African police. And what I did there was the two attorneys of law presented the evidence in the money trail evidence to the Scorpions, who were the National Prosecution Service. But I didn't trust anybody, especially interlocked to the apartheid government, because the people on the fraud document were apartheid senior high commission intelligence officers who defrauded my partner. I then took this information with the two attorneys of law. The Scorpions became involved, who were supposed to be the anti-corruption police. And yet I found out that the head of the Scorpions, Miss Ayanda Dlodlo, was actually working with the same suspects in the fraud case as a co-director of a worthless mining license in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. So my trust in my own government fell through the floor, because what I'd found was that members of the apartheid intelligence services were using the City of London to conduit billions, not millions, billions of organized crime money that's linked to senior politicians. I asked anybody, and I will stand before anybody in any court of law, if they can answer some of the questions that I would give them. They would all be in a 6x4. And I speak from the heart as an ex-serviceman, because what I have found out in the last 10, 14 years made me want to be sick of the trust that the military has in politicians who send us to war, as we are finding out recently. One of the people that I found out